Welcome back to Keith's Woodwork. Today we're not really doing woodwork. I got a blacksmith vise and I'm going to start doing blacksmithing. We'll do some videos on that too of me learning because you're not going to get any expert advice from me. But the the vise that I got is an old antique one. It's really cool and it sits. We're going to make this table. We're going to attach the vise to here and there's a leg that goes down to the ground, which will cut a little hole here and let that leg sit in there, and then there's a mushroom top that'll rest on like a big washer. The vise will screw down, and then we have this space for either just like a workbench, or I may just put the forge on here. And if this isn't sturdy enough or whatever, I can always put like a sawhorse leg on the end, and that'll help sturdy it up and keep it from moving. So the next step after, all I did was make a big box. It's just an empty open box, and I'm going to fill this with concrete. It looks like we got 2, maybe 3 bags of concrete, and that should give it more weight and make it more stable for pushing and pulling on the vise. So stay tuned. We're going to put some concrete in here, and we'll come back and I'll show you how we attach the vise, and hopefully it'll all work out. Okay, so it took me a little while, but we went down and picked up the cement. I got 2 bags. 2 80-pound bags of concrete. It doesn't make any difference what you use. 2 80-pound bags, filled it up, and I had some left over, so that's better than not having enough. So once this dries, the kids will probably put their handprints in here, and then I'm going to screw that top plate on and mount the vise. Okay, so the concrete's set up enough, so I'm just going to mount this top piece on, which will end up being kind of a cap and a bench top and all this other stuff I have planned for it. So I'm just going to put this on with some long screws, and then we'll get the vise mounted on here. Okay, screws are in. I'm just going to go grab the vise and we'll mount that right here. On the bottom of this leg vise, there's a 1.25 inch spot that goes through. So I'm going to drill that out so it sits right in my 2x. So I've measured that out. I'm just going to put this right in the middle and drill that through. Yeah, that was fun. Alright, so now this should drop right down into that hole. And we just mount the plate. I need washers. Okay, so that's my leg vise. I need to get a piece of spring steel in here because it's missing. But other than that, oh, I gotta tighten these up. Okay. So It shifts a little this way, so I'll probably end up putting some legs over here to stabilize it. But this is going to be a great workspace and Vise station for my new blacksmithing venture. Alright, so this cross piece here, we'll just keep these legs in the same position that they're in right now. What I need is a clamp here. Good thing I got a lot of pure brute force. Okay, this is solid now. Okay, so this ended up being my blacksmith leg vise stand. Like we talked about earlier, I got a nice big workspace. I don't know what that's for, but I'm sure it'll come in handy because you can always need more workspace. This is filled with about 160 pounds of concrete, this box that we made in here. The leg is supported through this piece of wood, so that's not going anywhere, and all the weight transfers down onto that bottom. And then we got the two legs over here, and that holds it from shifting around, so I could really move this thing, and it's not going to go anywhere when I'm trying to do whatever it is that blacksmiths do. I still don't know. Over here I have my anvil. With this table, I got the holes here for the hammer. I got a little workspace back here for putting maybe some hardy tools on, just resting them there while I'm not using them. And then over here where the camera is now, I think that's where the forge is going to go. I may put it at the end of the workbench. That might be a good spot too. This is all developing. We'll see how this all goes, and then I can start heating up metal and forcing it into submission. Stay with me. We're going to learn together. And if you have any helpful tips for a beginner blacksmith, I'd love to hear them. Not strong criticism, because I'm emotionally unstable and I can't handle that. I might get offended. So, offended. Bunch of pansies. Yeah, we'll see. And I like the fact that I made these out of wood, so if I decide I want to put anything on there, I could build out a little jig or a little stand or a little table and just screw it to there. So I think this will all work out good. Obviously I use pressure treated lumber. Those even just sit right like that. This is going to be awesome. As long as I can get it screwed in.
Welcome back to Keith's Woodwork. I'm Little Keith.
Action!
Welcome back to Keith's Woodwork, and today we're making a stand for the new Vise.
Wait. Oh! We have a bunch of leftover concrete.